Hey car enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today we're traveling back to 1965, a year of change, innovation, and, well, some pretty bad car designs. We've got 7 of the dumbest and worst cars from that year lined up for you. Some of these might make you cringe while others might just leave you scratching your head. Ready to be surprised? Let's get into it. Kicking off our list is the 1965 Rambler Marlin. When American Motors Corporation, AMC, introduced the Marlin, they had high hopes for creating something unique that would stand out in the increasingly competitive automotive market. The idea was to design a vehicle that combined the sporty appeal of a fastback with the comfort and luxury that would attract a broad range of buyers. However, despite the ambitious goals, the Marlin turned out to be a rather peculiar and ultimately unsuccessful venture. Design and proportions. The most striking aspect of the Marlin was its design, which, unfortunately, became its greatest weakness. AMC aimed to create a sleek and modern fastback, but the end result was a car with awkward proportions and questionable aesthetics. The Marlin's roofline and rear-end design gave it an unbalanced and bulky appearance, especially when viewed from the side, while the fastback silhouette was intended to evoke a sense of speed and dynamism. The Marlin's heavy and cumbersome look made it appear more like a lumbering giant than a nimble sports car. The car's proportions were further compromised by its large C-pillar, and the way the roofline abruptly met the rear deck, creating an overall aesthetic that was more confusing than cohesive. Performance and handling. While AMC marketed the Marlin as a sporty vehicle, its performance told a different story. Under the hood, the Marlin came with a variety of engine options, including a V8. But even the most powerful engine couldn't compensate for the car's significant weight. The Marlin was heavy, and its handling reflected that. The car's suspension and steering were not up to the task of delivering a truly engaging driving experience, and the Marlin struggled to compete with more nimble and responsive models in its class. Drivers expecting a thrilling ride were often left disappointed, as the Marlin's sluggish acceleration and lackluster cornering abilities made it feel more like a cruiser than a true sports car. The personal luxury car dilemma. AMC positioned the Marlin as a personal luxury car, a segment that was growing in popularity during the 1960s. The idea was to combine the sporty characteristics of a fastback with the comfort and amenities of a luxury vehicle. The Marlin featured a well-appointed interior, with individual front seats, a full set of gauges, and ample passenger space. However, the execution fell short of the competition. While the Marlin offered some elements of comfort, it couldn't match the refinement or the quality of materials found in other luxury vehicles of the time. The car's interior, though spacious, felt more utilitarian than luxurious, and the overall driving experience lacked the sophistication that buyers in this segment expected. A market misfit. One of the Marlin's biggest challenges was its identity crisis. It was neither a true sports car nor a full-fledged luxury vehicle, which left it in an awkward position in the market. Buyers who were interested in high-performance vehicles found the Marlin too heavy and unresponsive, while those seeking luxury were turned off by its lack of refinement and awkward styling. The Marlin tried to be many things at once, but in doing so, it failed to excel in any one area. This confusion in purpose made it difficult for the car to find a loyal customer base, and sales reflected this uncertainty. Legacy. Today, the 1965 Rambler Marlin is often remembered as one of AMC's more notable missteps. It serves as a reminder of the risks involved in trying to combine disparate automotive concepts without fully committing to any of them. The Marlin's awkward proportions, mediocre performance, and lack of clear identity resulted in a car that never quite found its footing. While it's remembered today by some enthusiasts for its uniqueness and bold attempt at innovation, the Marlin remains a symbol of what can go wrong when design and engineering don't come together in harmony. In the end, the Rambler Marlin was a lesson in the importance of understanding and meeting market expectations. AMC's attempt to create a vehicle that bridged the gap between sportiness and luxury resulted in a car that didn't quite satisfy either demand. The Marlin might have been envisioned as a groundbreaking model, but it ultimately became a footnote in automotive history, a reminder that ambition alone isn't enough to guarantee success. Next up, the 1965 Chevrolet Corvair. By the time the 1965 model year rolled around, the Corvair was already a car with a troubled past. The first generation, introduced in 1960, was GM's bold attempt to create a compact car with a rear-engine layout, something more commonly seen in European vehicles. However, this innovative design quickly became a double-edged sword. The Corvair's rear-engine placement led to significant weight distribution issues, which in turn caused handling problems that would tarnish the car's reputation for years to come. The second generation. A fresh start? The 1965 Chevrolet Corvair marked the debut of the second generation, with GM hoping to address some of the shortcomings of the earlier models. The redesign included a new, sleeker body style, improved suspension, and enhanced interior features. The car's appearance was a significant step forward, with a more streamlined, contemporary look that appealed to a broader audience. However, despite these improvements, the fundamental issue of the rear-engine layout persisted. Handling problems persist. The Corvair's handling problems were largely due to its rear-engine configuration, which placed the engine behind the rear axle. This setup created an imbalance in weight distribution, leading to a phenomenon known as oversteer. In simple terms, oversteer occurs when the rear wheels lose traction during a turn, causing the car's rear end to swing out. This made the Corvair difficult to control, especially for inexperienced drivers. While GM made some changes to the suspension in the 1965 model, these adjustments were not enough to fully rectify the handling issues that had plagued the car since its inception. Ralph Nader's critique. The Corvair's reputation took a devastating hit with the publication of Ralph Nader's book, Unsafe at Any Speed, in 1965. Nader's scathing critique focused heavily on the Corvair's handling problems, labeling the car as inherently unsafe. He argued that GM had prioritized cost-cutting over consumer safety, pointing to the Corvair's tendency to roll over during sharp turns as a prime example of corporate negligence. Nader's book ignited a national conversation about automotive safety, and ultimately led to increased scrutiny of the entire industry. For the Corvair, however, the damage was done. The car became synonymous with danger in the eyes of the public, and sales plummeted as a result. The lingering legacy. Despite its many flaws, the 1965 Corvair was not without its merits. The car's unique design and engineering were ahead of their time in many ways, and its second-generation styling was praised for its sleek, attractive lines. However, the Corvair's handling issues and the negative publicity from Nader's critique overshadowed these positive aspects. The car struggled to overcome its tarnished image, and by 1969, GM discontinued the Corvair altogether. A cautionary tale. The story of the Chevrolet Corvair serves as a cautionary tale in the automotive world. It highlights the risks of pushing the boundaries of design and engineering without fully addressing the potential consequences. The Corvair's innovative rear-engine layout was a bold move by GM, but its execution fell short, resulting in a vehicle that was difficult to handle and ultimately deemed unsafe by critics. The car's legacy is a reminder that innovation must be balanced with practicality and, most importantly, safety. In the end, the 1965 Chevrolet Corvair remains a fascinating, albeit flawed, chapter in automotive history. It's a car that had the potential to revolutionize the industry, but instead became a symbol of the importance of consumer safety and corporate responsibility. Today, the Corvair is often remembered not for its stylish design or engineering ambition, but for the lessons it taught the automotive industry about the dangers of neglecting the needs and safety of the driver. Coming in at number 3 is the 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau. Once a symbol of American automotive style and luxury, the Thunderbird had undergone significant changes over the years. By 1965, however, it had become somewhat bloated and gimmicky, struggling to maintain its position as a style icon amidst changing tastes and evolving design philosophies. The evolution of the Thunderbird. The Ford Thunderbird, introduced in 1955, was initially designed to be a sleek and stylish personal luxury car. It quickly gained acclaim for its elegant lines and performance-oriented engineering. However, as the years went by, the Thunderbird's identity began to shift. By the mid-1960s, the T-Bird had evolved from its original sporty roots into a larger, more luxurious vehicle, reflecting broader trends in the American automotive market, where bigger was often considered better. The 1965 model, design and styling. The 1965 Thunderbird Landau represented a further departure from the car's original concept. This model featured a distinctive design with an emphasis on luxury that was more ostentatious than refined. The Landau variant was equipped with a vinyl roof and faux wood interior trim, elements that were intended to evoke a sense of opulence. Unfortunately, these design choices did not age well. The faux wood trim, while intended to mimic the look of real wood, often came across as cheap and superficial. The vinyl roof, which was intended to add a touch of classic luxury, instead contributed to an overall appearance that felt overly embellished and outdated. Interior and features. Inside, the 1965 Thunderbird Landau was equipped with a range of features designed to enhance comfort and luxury. The cabin was spacious and featured leather upholstery, power windows, and a variety of amenities intended to provide a premium driving experience. However, the execution of these features often felt out of touch with the evolving tastes of the period. The use of faux wood trim and excessive chrome details did little to convey genuine luxury, and many observers felt that the interior lacked the sophistication and refinement that had once been the hallmark of the Thunderbird. Performance and handling. While the 1965 Thunderbird Landau offered a smooth and comfortable ride, its performance was somewhat overshadowed by its growing bulk. The car's size and weight contributed to a less nimble driving experience, and while the Thunderbird still had a powerful engine, it was clear that the emphasis had shifted from sporty performance to luxury and comfort. This shift in focus meant that the Thunderbird was no longer the agile and stylish personal car it had once been, but rather a larger, more cumbersome vehicle that struggled to balance its various roles. Public reception and legacy. The 1965 Thunderbird Landau's reception was mixed. For some, it represented a grandiose expression of American luxury, while for others, it was a sign that the Thunderbird had lost its way. The combination of gimmicky design elements and a lack of cohesion in styling left many critics and enthusiasts feeling that the car had strayed too far from its roots. The Thunderbird's transition from a sporty personal luxury car to a larger, more ostentatious vehicle marked a significant shift in its identity, and by the time the 1965 model was released, it was evident that the car's original charm was beginning to fade, a turning point. The 1965 Thunderbird Landau stands as a poignant example of the challenges faced by automotive icons when they attempt to adapt to changing market demands. The car's departure from its original, sleek design into a more bloated and gimmicky form highlighted the difficulties of maintaining a consistent brand identity while trying to innovate and appeal to new consumer preferences. The Landau's shortcomings in design and execution underscored the importance of staying true to the core values that initially defined a vehicle. In summary, the 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau represents a pivotal moment in the Thunderbird's history. It embodies the struggle between maintaining a classic identity and adapting to contemporary tastes, resulting in a model that, while ambitious, ultimately fell short of the elegance and sophistication that had once defined the Thunderbird. As a result, the 1965 Thunderbird Landau is often remembered as a period of decline for a once great automotive icon, a reminder of the challenges inherent in evolving a beloved classic. At number 4 is the 1965 Plymouth Barracuda. Though the Barracuda would later earn its place as a muscle car legend, its debut in 1965 was far from a triumphant success. The first-generation Barracuda aimed to capture the burgeoning interest in sporty and compact cars, but its initial offering was met with mixed reviews and some notable shortcomings. Design and features. The most striking feature of the 1965 Barracuda was its giant curved rear window, which was touted as a cutting-edge design element. While this sweeping rear glass was intended to give the car a unique and futuristic appearance, it also had practical drawbacks. The expansive rear window let in a significant amount of sunlight, making the interior uncomfortably hot, especially on sunny days. This design quirk, rather than enhancing the Barracuda's appeal, became a notable inconvenience for drivers and passengers alike. Engine and performance. the Barracuda's engine options for 1965 were underwhelming compared to the expectations set by its later iterations. The base engine was a modest 170 cubic inch six-cylinder, which lacked the power and performance that enthusiasts were starting to demand from sporty cars. While there was an optional V8 engine available, it too was relatively underpowered in comparison to the performance metrics of the time. This lack of robust engine options contributed to the Barracuda's underwhelming performance, making it less exciting on the road than its competitors. Market reception. The 1965 Plymouth Barracuda faced an uphill battle in the market. Despite its innovative design features, it struggled to stand out in a crowded field of compact and sporty cars. The combination of its unique but impractical rear window and its less than stellar performance meant that the Barracuda's debut year did not make the splash that Plymouth had hoped for. The car was overshadowed by more powerful and better-received competitors, and its initial sales figures reflected the lukewarm reception from consumers. Evolution and legacy. Despite its rocky start, the Barracuda's fortunes would improve significantly in the years that followed. Plymouth took the feedback from the 1965 model to heart and made substantial improvements in subsequent generations. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Barracuda would become known for its high-performance models, including the legendary Cuda variants. These later models would go on to cement the Barracuda's status as a muscle car icon, highlighting how the initial missteps of 1965 were eventually corrected. A lesson in automotive evolution. The 1965 Plymouth Barracuda serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by car manufacturers when introducing a new model. Despite its innovative design and the ambition behind it, the Barracuda's debut year was marked by practicality issues and performance limitations. However, the evolution of the Barracuda from its shaky start to its legendary status underscores the importance of adaptation and refinement in the automotive industry. The Barracuda's journey from a troubled debut to a celebrated muscle car legend illustrates how perseverance and iterative improvement can transform initial disappointments into lasting success. In conclusion, the 1965 Plymouth Barracuda is a fascinating example of a car that struggled in its first iteration, but went on to achieve greatness. Its early shortcomings in design and performance were significant, but they also provided valuable lessons that would help shape the Barracuda into one of the most memorable muscle cars of its era. Next is the 1965 Studebaker Commander. As one of the last models produced by Studebaker before the company ceased operations, the 1965 Commander holds a special place in automotive history, but not necessarily for reasons of triumph. Instead, it is often remembered as a symbol of the company's struggle to adapt to the rapidly changing automotive market of the 1960s. A relic of the past. By the mid-1960s, the automotive industry was undergoing a period of significant transformation. New design trends were emerging, characterized by more streamlined modern aesthetics and a focus on performance. Unfortunately, the 1965 Studebaker Commander seemed to be caught in a time warp, its design harking back to the early 1950s. The car's styling was outdated, with boxy lines and features that were no longer in vogue. While other manufacturers were embracing new design philosophies and technological advancements, the Commander appeared as a relic of a bygone era, struggling to make a mark in an increasingly competitive market. Styling and design. The 1965 Commander's design was marked by its conservative and somewhat outdated appearance. Its bulky body and squared-off edges lacked the sleek modern lines that were becoming popular in the mid-60s. The car's front grille, with its prominent horizontal bars and its overall boxy profile, were reminiscent of earlier automotive designs, making the Commander seem out of step with the current trends. While some enthusiasts might appreciate the vintage charm of its styling, the broader market found it less appealing, particularly in an era when innovation and fresh designs were highly valued. Performance and engineering. Performance-wise, the 1965 Commander did little to impress. It was powered by an array of engines that, while adequate, were not competitive with the more powerful offerings from rival manufacturers. The base engine was a 289 cubic inch V8, which provided decent performance, but lacked the excitement and power that many consumers were seeking. The car's handling and ride quality were also considered uninspiring. with a design that did not leverage the advancements in suspension technology that were becoming standard in other vehicles of the time. The Commander's performance, like its styling, felt somewhat outdated, and it struggled to capture the interest of a market increasingly focused on speed, agility, and technological sophistication. The end of an era. The 1965 Studebaker Commander was one of the last cars to roll off the assembly lines of the once prominent Studebaker Corporation. The company, which had been a significant player in the automotive industry, was facing severe financial difficulties and declining market share. Despite the Commander's efforts to appeal to consumers, it was clear that the company was unable to compete effectively with its rivals. The Commander's outdated design and performance were symptomatic of the broader struggles faced by Studebaker as it struggled to keep pace with the industry's rapid evolution. By the end of 1966, Studebaker had officially closed its doors, marking the end of an era for the storied American automaker. A historical footnote. Today, the 1965 Studebaker Commander is often viewed as a historical footnote rather than a celebrated classic. Its role as one of the last vehicles produced by Studebaker lends it a certain significance, but it is also a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by manufacturers who failed to keep up with changing trends and consumer expectations. While the Commander may not be remembered for its innovation or success, it stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of Studebaker and the company's final efforts to leave a mark on the automotive world. Legacy and reflection. The 1965 Studebaker Commander serves as an example of how even well-established automotive brands can struggle to adapt in a rapidly evolving industry. Its outdated styling and underwhelming performance reflect the difficulties faced by Studebaker as it tried to remain relevant in a market that was moving forward without it. While the Commander may not be remembered as a groundbreaking or particularly successful model, it remains a significant piece of automotive history, embodying the final chapter of a once great company's storied past. In conclusion, the 1965 Studebaker Commander encapsulates the struggles of a company facing the end of its run, struggling to adapt to an industry that was changing faster than it could keep up. Its outdated design and lackluster performance highlight the challenges of staying competitive in an era of rapid innovation and shifting consumer preferences. As such, the Commander stands as a historical reminder of both the achievements and the shortcomings of one of America's classic automotive manufacturers. At number 6, we have the 1965 Dodge Dart. While the Dart would eventually evolve into a respected and beloved compact car, its 1965 iteration was far from impressive. The model's early years were marked by a lack of innovation and an uninspired approach that did little to capture the imagination of car buyers. Design and styling. The 1965 Dodge Dart was characterized by its boxy and utilitarian design, which contrasted sharply with the sleek, dynamic lines that were becoming popular in the mid-60s. Its exterior lacked the flair and excitement seen in other vehicles of the era, making it blend into the background rather than stand out. The Dart's design was functional but not particularly engaging, with straight-edged lines and a generally unremarkable appearance that did not help it make a memorable impression. Performance and engine options. Under the hood, the 1965 Dart offered a range of engine options that were competent, but not particularly exciting. The base engine was a 170 cubic inch six-cylinder, which provided adequate but unremarkable performance. For those seeking more power, there was an optional V8 engine, but it too was modest compared to the more performance-oriented engines offered by competitors. The Dart's engine options were neither underpowered nor particularly powerful, leaving it with a performance profile that was solid but uninspired. Market reception and legacy. The 1965 Dart did not capture the attention of buyers in the way that Dodge had hoped. Its lack of distinctive styling and the uninspiring performance meant that it was easily overshadowed by more exciting and visually appealing cars of the era. As a result, the 1965 Dart did not enjoy the same level of popularity or recognition as some of its contemporaries. Evolution and improvement. Despite its rocky start, the Dodge Dart would go on to improve significantly in the years following 1965. Subsequent models would see enhancements in both design and performance, leading the Dart to become a well-respected compact car known for its reliability and value. By the early 1970s, the Dart had established itself as a strong contender in the compact car segment, with improvements that addressed many of the issues present in the 1965 model. Historical context. The 1965 Dodge Dart serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by automotive manufacturers as they navigated a rapidly evolving market. The Dart's initial shortcomings highlight the difficulties of standing out in an industry where style and performance were rapidly advancing. Its early years were marked by a struggle to find its place, but the car's evolution into a respected model demonstrates the potential for growth and improvement, even when starting from a less-than-ideal position. A lesson in automotive evolution. The 1965 Dart's journey from an uninspired early model to a successful compact car underscores the importance of adaptation and innovation in the automotive industry. While the 1965 Dart may not have made a significant impact at the time, its eventual success highlights how a car's initial challenges can be overcome with thoughtful improvements and adjustments. The Dart's evolution is a testament to the resilience of the model and the ability of automotive manufacturers to learn from and address early missteps. In summary, the 1965 Dodge Dart was an early example of a compact car that struggled to distinguish itself in a competitive market. With its boxy design and unremarkable performance, it did not capture the attention of buyers or leave a lasting impression. However, its evolution over the years demonstrates how initial shortcomings can be addressed and transformed into success, making the Dart a notable case of automotive growth and development. And finally, the 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone. This vehicle was intended to be Mercury's answer to the sporty car craze of the mid-1960s, a period when American automakers were fervently competing to capture the hearts of performance enthusiasts. The Comet Cyclone was introduced with the promise of delivering exhilarating performance and stylish appeal, but unfortunately, it fell short of expectations. Instead of making a dramatic impact, the Cyclone turned out to be more of a gentle drizzle than the storm Mercury had hoped for. Design and styling. The 1965 Comet Cyclone was designed to appeal to buyers looking for a sporty, stylish vehicle. However, its design failed to make a strong impression. The Cyclone's exterior was characterized by a conservative and somewhat bland look, lacking the distinctive flair and aggressive styling that defined the most memorable performance cars of the era. Its design was an attempt to balance sportiness with practicality, but ended up looking neither particularly sporty nor particularly distinctive. The Cyclone's design did not manage to capture the imagination of the market, resulting in a vehicle that blended into the background rather than standing out. Performance issues. Performance was where the Cyclone truly missed the mark. While it was marketed as a performance-oriented vehicle, its actual capabilities did not live up to the hype. The car was equipped with a range of engines, including a V8 option, but even the most powerful engine option delivered only mediocre performance. The Cyclone's acceleration and handling were underwhelming, lacking the excitement and responsiveness that enthusiasts were seeking. The car's performance was not competitive with other sporty models of the time, which offered more power and better driving dynamics. Market position and reception. Despite its intentions, the 1965 Comet Cyclone did not manage to carve out a significant niche in the market. Its performance shortcomings and uninspired design made it less appealing to buyers looking for a true sporty car experience. The Cyclone was overshadowed by competitors that delivered more on both performance and style. As a result, the Comet Cyclone struggled to generate the excitement and sales that Mercury had hoped for. The car's inability to stand out in a crowded and competitive market was a significant blow to its success. Legacy and reflection. The 1965 Comet Cyclone serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by automakers trying to enter the highly competitive sporty car segment. Despite the hype and marketing efforts, the Cyclone's inability to deliver on performance and style resulted in a vehicle that failed to make a lasting impact. The car's legacy is one of missed opportunities, with its performance falling short of expectations and its design failing to capture the excitement of the era. The Comet Cyclone's place in history. Today, the 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone is often remembered as a footnote in the history of American performance cars. While it did not achieve the success Mercury had hoped for, it remains an interesting example of the era's ambitious attempts to create sporty vehicles. The Cyclone story highlights the difficulty of competing in a market where performance and style were paramount. and serves as a reminder that not all attempts to join the sporty car craze were successful. Conclusion. The 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone was designed to be a standout in the sporty car market, but ultimately failed to deliver on its promises. With mediocre performance and a design that did not capture the spirit of the era, the Cyclone was more of a gentle drizzle than the storm Mercury had envisioned. Despite its well-intentioned design and marketing, the Cyclone's shortcomings prevented it from making a significant impact, leaving it as a notable example of a car that did not quite live up to the hype. And there you have it, folks. 7 of the dumbest and worst cars in America from 1965. Did any of these cars surprise you? Or maybe you had the misfortune of driving one? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.